Right now, you feel tired. Your soul feels worn out. Your heart feels stretched thin. You've been fighting silent battles that nobody knows about. You've been carrying weight that nobody appreciates. And you've been praying prayers that feel unanswered. But listen, God has heard every cry. He has seen every tear. He has counted every sleepless night. And none of it has been wasted. Every moment is being woven into your destiny. Every struggle is being shaped into strength. Every delay is a setup for a greater reveal. But here's the part most people don't want to accept: before God blesses you publicly, He breaks you privately. Before He gives you influence, He gives you isolation. Before He trusts you with impact, He tests your surrender. You cannot be anointed without being emptied. You cannot be elevated without being humbled. You cannot be strengthened without being shaken. God is not punishing you, He is preparing you. This season may feel frightening, but it is sacred. The darkness you feel around you is not the enemy, it's God's shadow. And the shadow of God is safer than the spotlight of men. Stay there. Don't rush the process. Don't run from the pressure. You are being shaped for something supernatural. Something uncommon. Something beyond your imagination. And hear this clearly. You will not die in this season. You will not fail in this chapter. You will not be destroyed by this storm. What God started in you, He will finish. What He promised you, He will deliver. Where He is taking you, no force in hell can stop. You're closer than you think. Closer than you feel. Closer than you realize. The shaking is a sign of the shift. The pressure is a sign of the promise. The darkness is a sign of His presence. Something big is coming. Something heaven approved. Something enemy blocked. Something designed by the hand of God Himself. Hold on. Don't break now. Your breakthrough will make sense of every frightening moment you've survived. And when God lifts you, you're not losing your mind. You're not under a curse. You're not abandoned. What you're sensing is God shifting things in the unseen. When heaven starts rearranging, the earth starts shaking. That's why you feel uneasy. That's why life feels unfamiliar. You're standing in a spiritual transition, and transitions always feel frightening, because you're stepping out of what was, into what can be, without fully seeing what will be. But faith is born in the dark. Faith grows when sight disappears. Faith becomes strongest when everything around you feels uncertain. There's a reason you've been feeling like something big is coming. Something you can't explain, something you can't describe, something that feels both terrifying and holy at the same time. That feeling is not anxiety, it's spiritual anticipation. Your spirit knows what your eyes cannot see. God is positioning you for a breakthrough that is bigger than anything you've imagined. But big breakthroughs require big battles. Which is why the intensity increased. Which is why the warfare became heavier. Which is why the pressure multiplied. You are not being attacked, you're being prepared. Look back at your journey. Look at how many times the enemy tried to break you. Look at how many nights you cried in silence. Look at how many storms you survived without understanding how. You didn't make it this far because you were strong, you made it because God carried you. You made it because heaven fought for you. You made it because every time darkness tried to swallow you, God lit a small flame in your spirit and whispered, "Not yet. Not this one. This one belongs to me." You are still here not by chance, but by covenant. God's hand has been on your life since the moment you took your first breath. The world tried to distract you. Situations tried to break you. People tried to discourage you. But God didn't let those things destroy you, because He already wrote your ending before your story even began. And that ending is. There comes a moment in every believer's life when the road that once felt familiar suddenly turns unfamiliar. When the path that used to shine with clarity slowly gets swallowed in shadows. And inside that darkness, fear begins to whisper, telling you that you're lost, forgotten, abandoned. But listen carefully, because the whisper you're hearing isn't the truth. What feels like darkness to you might actually be God covering you, hiding you, protecting you from something you don't even see. Sometimes God doesn't clear the path, sometimes He hides it. Not to confuse you, but to confuse the enemy. Because what is hidden cannot be touched, cannot be targeted, cannot be destroyed. You think you're stuck, but heaven is simply keeping you out of the enemy's line of sight. That's why doors closed suddenly. That's why people walked away. That's why opportunities vanished without explanation. God wasn't delaying you, He was shielding you. There are seasons where God becomes quiet. Not because he's distant, but because he's working in arenas your eyes cannot reach. If you could see the battles God is fighting for you in the spiritual realm, you wouldn't question his silence, you'd fall to your knees in awe. You'd understand why things had to slow down. You'd understand why your plans had to break. Because if God allowed everything to go your way, you'd walk straight into traps designed to destroy you. But his detours are your survival. His delays are your protection. His silence is his loudest form of preparation. You might be wondering why life suddenly feels heavier. Why every step feels like a burden. Why sleep doesn't feel peaceful anymore. Why your spirit senses a strange pressure, a shift, a weight. It's because God is preparing to elevate you, and elevation always requires separation. Before God lifts you, he disconnects you. Before he promotes you, he exposes things that cannot go with you. Before he opens a new chapter, he forcefully closes an old one, even the ones. Sometimes when life stops making sense, when your plans fall apart, when every door you trusted suddenly closes, it's not chaos. It's not an accident. It's God shifting the ground beneath your feet to move you where he needs you next. You feel the pressure, the delay, the silence, and it scares you. Good. Because the place God is taking you is bigger than anything you planned. And before elevation, there is always a shaking. Don't panic when the path turns dark. Even darkness obeys him. Don't fear when people leave. God removes what can't go with you. Right now, you may feel alone, but heaven has already gone before you. Every closed door, every delay, every unexpected storm. It's not the enemy stopping you, it's God positioning you. You're still going to reach what he promised. Not because the path is smooth, but because the one leading you never fails. So when the night feels heavy, when your spirit feels shaken, when you sense something shifting that you can't explain, don't run. Don't retreat. You're not being attacked, you're being prepared. God hasn't forgotten you. He's surrounding you. He's protecting you from battles you never even saw. And soon, very soon, the same darkness that tried to scare you will become proof that God was fighting for you the whole time. Hold on. You're closer than you think. And what's coming will make every frightening moment worth it. You might be wondering why life suddenly feels heavier. Why every step feels like a burden. Why sleep doesn't feel peaceful anymore. Why your spirit senses a strange pressure, a shift, a weight. It's because God is preparing to elevate you, and elevation always requires separation. Before God lifts you, he disconnects you. Before he promotes you, he exposes things that cannot go with you. Before he opens a new chapter, he forcefully closes an old one, even the ones you tried to hold on to with trembling hands. There are things God removed from your life that you are st. There comes a time in your journey with God where he doesn't just ask you to surrender your battles, he asks you to surrender your entire blueprint. The blueprint you created. The timeline you expected. The version of life you imagined. And that surrender is not easy. Because you've built your heart around certain dreams. You've shaped your identity around certain outcomes. You've held on to certain expectations so tightly that releasing them feels like losing yourself. But God is saying in this very moment, trust me enough to let go. I'm not taking from you. I'm preparing something greater for you. This is the season where God unravels everything that was built on fear, pressure, or human approval. Not to punish you, but to free you. Because freedom sometimes looks like everything falling apart before everything falls into place. You prayed for breakthrough, but you didn't realize breakthrough often begins with breaking. Breaking patterns, breaking cycles, breaking attachments, breaking illusions. And while you feel the breaking, God is building. Quietly. Carefully. Strategically. What you call disruption, God calls construction. What you call delay, God calls development. What you call silence, God calls, and the higher God calls you, the quieter it gets. Elevation requires separation. Promotion requires preparation. Breakthrough requires surrender. This is why God removed certain voices from your life, so you could hear his voice more clearly. This is why he closed certain doors, so you wouldn't walk into something beneath your calling. This is why he delayed certain plans, so you wouldn't step into blessings prematurely. This is why he shifted certain relationships, so you wouldn't attach to people not assigned to your destiny. Some people were in your life for the journey, but not for the destination. Some opportunities were for a chapter, not for the whole story. Some blessings were seasonal, not eternal. Some connections were lessons, not lifelines. And